So we have a second announcement to share. So Becka Warren, Farm to Plate's Food Security Project Manager, has been collaborating with others, many in this room, to create a food security roadmap for Vermont. So joining her, hopefully, are some key partners to help make this announcement. So, oh, there we go. So we also have Anore Horton of Hunger Free Vermont, Mandy Fischer of the Intervale Center, and Monica Collins of Feeding the Valley to share more.
Thank you. My name is Becka Warren. Kelly and I have been the backbone staff at the Farm to Plate Network Food Security Priority Strategy Team. So as you know, the network has different groups and the strategy teams work on priority strategies. Our strategy that we were tasked with was developing a food security plan for Vermont. And Anore and Monica and Mandy have joined me up here because they are part of the team. I'm part of our small group that had finalized the plan contents, and also, just apropos of our morning's bold and brave transformative stories, they're also here because I don't love public speaking by myself, and so I manufactured this opportunity to have friends here, standing with me. Also as a symbol of how, if we're gonna have food security in Vermont, it's gonna be by working together. So I don't think I need, oh wait, I have something else to say, okay. So, I just wanted to say we're proud to be the first team to complete our priority strategy. Unfortunately, there is no trophy. So our prize is our incredible pride and excitement in the actual plan that was developed over the past 2 years, which will be called the Vermont Food Security Roadmap to 2035. Okay, so to be released in January. So we're just giving you some little tidbits today. And I don't think I need to spend any time explaining that food security is important, or that it is multifaceted, it involves all sectors in the state, especially our agricultural businesses. Does anyone need me to talk about that? Okay, so I didn't think so. Oh, and now I have to shift to my other piece of paper. So as many of you know, last year we reached out and asked people across Vermont how to create food security. Strategy team members, many of you in this room, were part of interviews or focus groups or took a digital survey. This statewide input and guidance from people's personal and professional expertise is the basis of the roadmap. So while I'm using the word we, it's not just about the 4 of us and Kelly. It's around 600 people who participated in some way. And I just want to do like hold up your hands moment if you remember participating in the roadmap process at all. So if you have questions, if you didn't raise your hand, you have questions about what this process was or how, who was involved, you can ask someone who did raise their hand. So team members read through all of the statewide input, pulled out the top, the common suggestions and solutions for creating food security in our state for everybody who lives here. And then a small group, of which we are a part, took on the task of identifying, out of all these solutions, what were the goals, what were the objectives, what were the strategies, right? It's a strategic plan of a sort. So we had to pull those things together, the actions to create food security in Vermont. And the message from across the state was clear. We talked about it this morning, even here. Vermont has the resources, it has the tools, and we have the will to create food security for all who live here. And another message that came from across the state was, stop messing around, this is urgent. So the more formal way to say that last thing, which I'm only sharing with you guys, is it's time for transformation. So the roadmap to 2035 provides bold, brave, hopefully transformative strategies that will bring us to a day, 12 years from now, when everyone in Vermont will be able to get the food they want, the food they need, all the time, when there's food security for everyone living in the state. Yes! I'm so excited. I can't tell you how exciting it was to go through this process with so many people and many times be standing in a room and thinking to myself, I wish we could just say we're going to do this thing, but I don't know. And then someone would be like, well, we did this thing. And everyone would be like, yes, it's time. We got to do this It's very, very exciting. And so we're gonna share just a couple tidbits, little previews of some of the goals and objectives that are in the roadmap. And then I'll talk about next steps, which is very similar to the Vermont State University next steps. Anore, would you like to start?
Okay.
Hi, everyone. So one of the goals in the food security roadmap is that government ensures food security for all in Vermont. So yes, we could clap for that. Absolutely clap for that. So fundamentally, we know that food insecurity is caused by people not having enough income to meet all of their basic needs all at the same time. That is, that's what's required for food security for all of us, right? And we're saying in this roadmap that our state government is the only entity here in our state that's able to actually lead this effort. And it's up to all of us to cause that to happen, of course. So it's possible for our state government to create universal and dignified income supports that creatively dovetail with current federal nutrition and other programs. And it's possible by our state government taking those actions to reduce the stigma that we all feel in using these programs, and also to reduce the resistance to collectively funding, providing for all of our basic needs. And government can both regulate and support actions at many different levels, and this will be required in order to create true food security for all in Vermont. At the level of our towns and villages, at the level of our businesses and labor, at the level of the healthcare industry, at the level of our transportation system so that there's true access to food for everybody, and at the level of, we could just think to this past summer, emergency planning and response. So all of those that I've just named are different objectives under this broad goal of government ensuring food security for all in Vermont. And I want to end my little piece by flagging for all of us and reminding all of us that there are so many actions toward fulfilling this goal that are already underway in our state. We don't want to forget that. We have the Farm to School and Early Child Care Grants Program. We have the local food purchasing incentive for schools. We have the expansion of the child tax credit and the earned income tax credit. We have universal school meals. We have funding in state government funding for Meals on Wheels and for the charitable food system. We have the Vermont Everyone and Vermont Emergency Eats programs that were created and stood up. We have the Transformational Child Care Bill. We have efforts underway to expand Reach Up grants. Also a vision to create the IT systems at the state level that we need to actually make all of this possible and workable for all of us. So we are on the road. This is a roadmap, but we're already on the road. We're already on the road together, and let's not forget that in the challenging days ahead. All right.
Anore, Horton, everybody! Hi, I'm Mandy Fischer. I'm Director of Programs at the Intervale Center. We are a food systems organization in Burlington working at the intersection of food, agriculture, climate, and conservation. And it's been super exciting to work on this plan because it knits together solutions across the food system that can make meaningful change for people who are most at risk of hunger in Vermont. And when those most at risk have what they need, we all have what we need. So the second goal of this plan is focused on Vermont agriculture and making sure that all farmers have the resources they need to be resilient. This is central to securing our food supply in a changing climate. In addition to shoring up farm business technical assistance and infrastructure development, investing in land conservation, and standing up an emergency fund for farmers who face climate disaster in our state, This plan recommends that we immediately develop a program that provides direct financial support to farmers, as farmers are essential workers who provide much more than food, jobs, and economic activity. They provide critical ecological and social benefits to our communities. Benefits that in a changing climate, we will come to value even more than we do right now. I feel an urgency to figure this out after witnessing the climate disaster in July, which devastated the Intervale. Year after year, and let me say, I've been in the Intervale for 18 years. I've worked at the center for 17 and a half years. I was there for Irene, and I was there again in July. And year after year, our place and its farmers are incredibly productive. Our community grows abundant, delicious organic food and brings people together in beautiful wild and agricultural spaces. But this year, the Intervale flooded, and it was terrifying and devastating to see it. But the Intervale was doing its job. It slowed the water down. Direct payments to farmers mean we value them and their ecological and cultural contributions. We value them in years when their land slows the water down, and we value them when their land produces abundant food. With increasing market and climate shocks forthcoming, it is important that we figure this out now for Vermont's farmers if we want to ensure a vibrant Vermont agriculture moving forward. Monica Collins.
Hi everyone, my name is Monica Collins, and I am with a small local nonprofit called Feeding the Valley Alliance. We're located in the lovely Route 100 Valley of Hancock, Granville, and Rochester. We're kind of at the edge of three different counties, so we sometimes get forgotten. Part of the reason why I got involved in this process is because we also need to consider how grassroots efforts can be meaningful in this work. And so my piece was the community goals. And one of our goals, and I think one of the most important goals, is to ensure that Vermont communities have the tools to include food security in town planning. And how do we do that? Every 5 to 10 years, your planning commission in your town puts out some information calling for community input on the town plan. There are tools to include food security in town planning. And one of the most important tools is one that was developed by Farm to Plate a couple of years ago. But we need to actually use those tools in town. When your town calls for input, be there, show up and say, food security is important, not just for the well-being of our community, but also for resilience. We saw this happen this summer. So that's such an important action that you can take, and there's many more listed in the plan, but you'll see that when it comes out in January. Thank you.
See why I wanted them up here? They're awesome. I'm just going to talk about one aspect of how we're going to enact our ambitious roadmap, and that is very familiar to all of us, just collaboration. Vermont community input resoundingly called for a new level of statewide communication and collaboration. The ideas we have for how we're going to create food security in this state by 2035 are ambitious, but necessary. And if we truly want to secure our food supply in our changing climate, address the social inequities that perpetuate poverty and hunger, and ensure that everyone in Vermont has access to abundant, culturally responsive food with dignity, we need to work together to enact the roadmap. So one aspect of the collaboration that we're recommending and will be beginning to work on is forming a statewide food security coalition, which will be within the Farm to Plate network. So because the priority strategy team has now won the trophy and completed its task, we'll be creating a new type of entity within the network, a coalition. And this will include representatives from all sectors intersecting with food security. including but not limited to transportation, healthcare, housing, farming, business, government, education, etc., I wrote down. So the coalition will evaluate progress toward the roadmap goals and set out 3-year strategic stretches for people to work on, and work very closely with community groups that are also outlined in the plan. That's a future idea and necessity. So we'll be working on the coalition throughout 2024 to figure out the structures and the membership and reaching out to all of you. And I could just say again, I'm incredibly excited that we're grasping this moment to make this transformational effort on behalf of our neighbors, our families, and ourselves in this state. If you have questions about how to get involved or what happened, if you want to ask about what happened, you can talk to the people who raised their hands, and then just make sure you're on the email list for the priority strategy team, the food security priority strategy team. And we'll keep you updated about how to join in and get information about the coalition, community-based structures, and other aspects of what's coming next, including policy work. Thank you all.